everyone, welcome to week 2 of The Artist Way. It is currently like 1,000,000 degrees in the UK, so that is why my blinds are all closed. It's actually bright middle of the day, but I'm in the dark. It is actually the end of week 2 now. This week has been a really busy one for me in lots of really positive ways, but it does mean that I wasn't super hot on vlogging this week. But this week was all about recovering a sense of identity. And I would say actually the tasks and everything kind of did help me out with that in a way. I definitely found myself sort of realizing things about myself that I knew but like had been forgotten. So this week's artist date was actually a bit of a combination of just being an idea I had for a date, plus also sort of a reaction to some of the things that came up during the tasks. So I ended up going to a contemporary dance class. Now I do go to a fair few dance classes. When I'm sort of like on top of my shit, I'm going at least once a week. For the last couple of years, I've been doing a lot of tap classes. That's been like a new style I've been delving into. But this week, the contemporary class, which actually I went to once many years ago, just really well lined up with my schedule. Essentially, I went after work one day and it was a lot of fun. So I'm gonna input my clips from that now. Also, just a real quick apology that the video is in portrait. I have never once filmed a dance class video in portrait. I think I panicked, but anyway, enjoy. Never to work for love. Don't need you to show me how. Don't wanna be falling in when I'm falling out. Didn't think I'd get for love. Every time I hold it back, nothing's lost in my head. I'm trying to find a way. Let's choose us, let's take us, let's beg it, heartbreakers. I don't wanna be that way. You will never hear me say, come hold me, console me, when really I'm lonely. Even if I feel this way, I don't wanna feel this way when I need someone. But I'm nowhere to be found. Cancellations for conversations I don't need right now. I'm afraid of these relations. Now, not to sound too insecure, but it wasn't my best work. I have not done contemporary in a long time, but this class really reminded me that it is one of my absolute favorite styles. Now, obviously contemporary has many forms within it, but just in general, it's something I love, I've done for years. But really, when was the last time I did it? Maybe that same class I took many years ago. However long ago that was, I can't even remember. I've got to say, I'm not thrilled with the video I got. As per usual, as soon as I started filming, my brain went blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I messed up some things that I hadn't done for the whole class, of course, naturally. But I'm trying to be, this maybe sounds silly to some people, but very brave with sharing the video because I'm not super happy with it. But I think it's important to try and get over that for myself. I've got to say that despite maybe not being super thrilled with the final video outcome, that's kind of not the point. I was so happy to move my body in that way again. I really went in with the idea of just don't get in your own head. Don't worry what anyone else thinks. Just be there for more the like mental, like relaxation part of it almost. Because I find dance so like mentally beneficial. It's something I love doing, and if you can not think about what's this person thinking about me, if you can not be self-conscious, I also find it very like mindful and like relaxing, and I don't know if I have the words for it quite, but just very good for the brain. So I went in with the mentality of just let it go, don't overthink it, don't worry about how it's going, you know, just do it and enjoy. And I really did. I had so much fun. My passion for contemporary has been reignited. But yeah, so I would definitely like to go back to that class in particular. I really do like that teacher. She's very just chill. She just kind of gets on with it. I do like a teacher who's very personable and like super like friendly and stuff like that can be nice, but I do also just like when they're not mean about it, they're not strict, they're not this or that, they're not harsh, but they just do the warm-up, do this, do that, we're moving on. I like the efficiency. But yeah, maybe this chat is a little bit boring if you're not super into dance, I don't know, but I had a lot of fun, and definitely in that way, that sense of identity in my like dancer part of life has definitely been brought back up to the surface, so that is really good. I will hopefully go back to her class or another contemporary class soon. It's also good because I often find myself very nervous to go to a new class, whether it be a new teacher or just a style I've not done a lot. Like I said, I've basically majority been doing tap like for a few years, and I'll do like the occasional MT commercial class, you know, things like that. But basically every time I go to a new class, I'm like racked with just this anxiety, like what if the level is too hard for me? What if they're all really good and they judge me? And it's just, let it go, you know? So that's what I'm working on. But yeah, so especially now I've been to that class in recent times, I can feel like more secure going, and just, I wasn't anxious at all while I was in the class, but just not having that anxiety before is obviously good. Because I almost didn't go because I was like, oh, maybe it's not worth it. I mean, like I was in a bit of a bad mood that day, so I was like, what if I don't do well and it makes me feel worse and blah, 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 blah. The excuses. Julia would be disappointed if I didn't go. So that is definitely something, final point, that is definitely something in this book that I have identified a lot with, I suppose, is this idea of like basically making excuses and putting things in your own way. Obviously, there are actually things that also get in the way: money, time, actual physical health. You know, there's a million reasons why certain things just don't happen. Mental health, you know, so much stuff, you know, life. But equally, I know I do get in my own way all the time I get in my own way, through being self-conscious, through just kind of like almost happened with the class, like just being like, oh, I'm in a bad mood, so there's no point doing this thing, which I am in general pretty good at ignoring, but sometimes not so much, and especially not when it's with something that I'm less confident in doing. So a dance class, actually, I've danced for almost my entire life. Like, a specific new class might feel nerve-wracking, but in general, it's not something that I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen? Whereas like, I know that when I have an idea to do something, I started like trying to write a book earlier this year, maybe, with the full intention of it being, you know, not for necessarily like trying to publish or anything, like just doing it for myself and just like, you know, maybe asking friends to read it and stuff. And like, I just gave up because as soon as I got past the initial like, oh, that's fun and exciting, I started going, well, why am I bothering? What's this for? What's this? You know. So if I'm having a bad day, the last thing I'm gonna do is go, oh, I should write some of my book. No, I'm gonna feel like there's no point. Whereas like with something I'm more comfortable with, I've done a lot in my life, it's easier to push through that. Does that make sense? Anyway, so that was my recap of my artist date and a little bit of a recap of how I've been feeling this week. Okay, I've decided to bake a cake whilst I discuss the tasks of week 2 and sort of how I've been finding them. So one of the tasks that I really liked was the 20 things I enjoy doing. At first, I really thought I wasn't going to be able to think of 20 things. There are plenty of things that I like doing, but I just thought it seemed like a really high number. But I did manage to get there. And what I found really interesting with this task was really just the things that I really love doing that I've let slip, to be honest. Actually, on my list is baking, but I think I've got the list here. Yeah, I think the last time I did some baking was in April. So, you know, probably about 2 months ago or something at this stage, but that's fine. You have to allow for lifing, you know? But there were some ones on there like yoga. I don't think I've done a yoga session since like last year. And I can do that at home. I don't have to pay any money. I don't have to go anywhere. And for some reason, I just haven't done it. That's so annoying. I thought I was gonna finish this bag and I've got like the tiniest little bit in there. Annoying. And yoga was literally number 5 on my list. So I thought of it really quickly. So for it to be something I've not done for so long is kind of crazy. There were some things that I feel like, you know, I've not done for a while. Like I've not been camping since like last May, but you know, camping's not something that I can just do of an evening. Like, you know, it requires planning, time, money, you know, so that makes sense. Sorry, I don't think I specified that the task was to write down 20 things you enjoy doing and how long it's been since you've done them. But the thing that's on my list that was the longest ago that I last did it was choreographing, which I have not done since 2024. Which is insane, given that's something that you can do on your own time, at home, do your own thing. Doesn't have to be for anyone, for anything. And yet I've not done it since 2024. I think it was about October, so it's been like a year and a half. Which, given that when I was at uni, I thought that choreography might be something that I went into professionally, I was a little bit upset to realise how I had let that one slip from my life. But I'm trying not to let the sort of like sadness of it like be the takeaway. I'm trying to think like, okay, I've recognized it, I'm feeling sad about that. It's not like, oh, I like that, but like it doesn't really matter, you know. It's made these emotions come up, so I'm like, okay, this has got to be something that we get on soon. Overall, I was happy to see that the vast majority of things I have done quite recently. I think the only ones that weren't this year were yoga, choreographing, and acting, which I've got to say, acting, unless you're in work, well, I've got to pay for acting like classes. Oh, like, yeah, I probably should, but like, and it would be super fun, but you know, it's just like, it makes sense that that one, you know, it's only been since December, so. And then camping, like I said, as well. But other than that, everything that I've got on this list, all 20 things I've done this year. So even if I do think like, okay, well, maybe I could be doing this thing more often than once every 4 months, you know, it's still not that bad. Also, this recipe calls, by the way, I'm making a lemon drizzle cake. The recipe calls for ground almonds. I don't have that and I didn't want to buy it. So instead I'm using some toasted soy flour, because it's got like a nutty sort of thing to it. So I don't know if that's going to be a terrible idea, but we are experimenting because why not? The whole thing's going to be covered in like lemony sugar, so it can't be bad, surely. Okay, and then the next task that I sort of wanted to discuss was writing down 5 imaginary lives. Like, if I wasn't doing what I was doing right now, what would be a more fun life to be leading? I've got to say, it was a bit easier once I let go of the, like, realism of it, because I got a little bit stuck being like, but I couldn't do that because this, you know what I mean? So once I'd gone, no, it's just about, like, what would be a fun idea of a life. That, yeah, made sense. But dancing came up in both my 20 things and my imaginary lives, so that was part of the inspiration for it being my artist date this week. And then I have to say, I felt like some of the tasks this week just almost didn't feel relevant to me. Or at the very least, I'd say I like struggled with them. There was one that I didn't even bother trying to do it was something like, what 5 activities took up the most time in your week? How much time did it take? Are any of these things only serving other people? That kind of thing, which I really understand the sentiment of. But I was like, what do you mean? I mean, probably sleep, then probably work, which like, yeah, I guess that is kind of for other people. Like, I'm making money for a company. But it's for me too, I guess. Do I really want to work? No, but I think I got in the way of myself a little bit there, but it just felt like it didn't necessarily lend itself to anything helpful for me. And to be honest, like in general, I'm trying to do every task, but you're not even meant to actually do all of them. Like, you don't have to do them all. So I think it makes sense to just like try and focus on the ones that feel like they'll actually do something for you. Does this look weird? I'm zesting. Oh no, I'm juicing. I always do this. I forgot to zest my lemon before I juiced it. Every time. Because there was also a task that was like, almost like making a pie chart of like how fulfilled you are in certain parts of your life. And it's not that that wasn't necessarily relevant to me, but I did struggle with that one. I guess I wasn't very good at reflecting on how fulfilled I am. Like, I know what it means, but like, I don't know. I felt a bit of a block there. But anyway, I am baking on a day that is like 32 degrees outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this so I can open the window, get the breeze going. But I'll finish up the cake and I'll show you the final product. Okay, my cake is out the oven. Now I've just got to do the little lemon drizzle part. I thought this would be a fun sort of little process to share, given that it was one of the top things on my list that I like doing, just mixing like a bunch of lemon and sugar. I feel like that wasn't enough. I was distracted. It says to do 4 tablespoons. I don't know if I just did 4 or not. I'm worried because if it's not enough, it's probably not gonna like set well. Should I taste it? Oh, I'm just going to add more sugar because at this stage that's like just lemon. It's delicious, but it's like tart, you know? Let's just freehand. Something I will say that I've enjoyed about this process so far is how it is making me more mindful of like creativity in different areas of my life. Like say the list of 20 things. It didn't specify 20 creative things, it was just 20 things, but I am actually in general quite a creative person. I like sort of making things, doing things, you know. But it's something like baking. Like that is kind of creative in its own way. Not necessarily always. If you follow a recipe to a T, then it's a bit more methodical, but equally it is still, you know, creating an outcome. Oh, that's so good. Oh, it's sour, but it's sweet. Oh, delicious. Okay. I think I might take this out of the tin because I think it's going to take way too long to cool if I leave it in there. Yeah, because that is hot. The recipe says to like let the cake cool for about 5 minutes, which has probably been, but I'm thinking I might leave it a bit longer. Or is it meant to go on hot so that the like sugar kind of melts? I don't know. I'll leave it like a second longer. Once again, didn't quite finish the bottom of a bag of sugar. Anyone else have just a million types of sugar? Also, highly recommend, just for organization and short people as well, baskets on your shelves. Because especially the top shelves, I can get things down and put them back up so much easier. I can like reach enough just to like slide them up, and then to get them down I use tongs. But then it's just all down in one. Perfect. Okay, I can't wait. So now I think you literally are just meant to like spoon the like lemon sugar over the top. I feel like there's so much of it. Like this is how much it's said to do, but I feel like it's gonna like drown the cake. I don't know. I'm also not sure if it might be a good idea to put this in the fridge to cool. Don't know though, I'm always a bit wary of doing that with cakes. But I'm just worried that it's all gonna like make the bottom soggy. Oh, it is actually kind of like glazing. Interesting. I don't know. This is how much it says to do, so I kind of want to like do it. It might be a mess, who knows? Okay, I actually think this last little bit I'm gonna save for myself and put in some tonic water. Been really enjoying like squeezing some lemon in my tonic water recently because I do just drink tonic water on its own. I don't really feel like this needs it, but I am actually just gonna put a bit of lemon zest on top as well. Just a little. Kind of like for appearance, like more than anything else, it's like a nice little decorative touch. It's a little bit like sprinkles. Oh, that's so fun. Okay, I think all of the liquid has actually already soaked in. So this is the final thing. It looks a little burnt. It actually looks a lot darker on the camera, I think, than it does in real life. But yeah, in real life, that's a real nice golden brown. That's my cake. Okay, hello everyone. Just wanted to now pop in and do my check-in for week 2. This week I've been keeping up with doing my affirmations every day. At the end of each morning pages, I do an affirmation that kind of links to what I've been discussing and how I'm feeling, which is nice. And I've been now writing down my affirmations at the end of every week on like their own page as well. And I don't necessarily want to share them. For me, I feel like they're kind of personal. But I will say, looking back on them, it does kind of indicate the week I've had. It's like, it's actually a really interesting way of like almost tracking how you've been feeling through the week. And I definitely think it's, yeah, it's indicative of the busy week I've had. And you know, it being difficult in ways, but also me being very grateful for the things that I've got. As you should be. Okay, so for morning pages, 7 out of 7. I'm yet to miss a morning page, feeling very happy about that. Definitely found myself very reflective. Again, definitely using that time to just like think about life and feelings. I either was gushing about how much I love my life and how great certain things are, or I was venting about things that are frustrating. And I think honestly that's been really beneficial for me because it's like a really good way of going, I'm gonna sit here and for the next 15-20 minutes I'm gonna think about how I feel, whether that be positive or negative, and I'm just gonna think about that and discuss it with myself and see what we can come up with. And for me that's really beneficial because I think often I'm, without meaning to be, quite a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not dismissive, but like avoidant kind of person. Like, I feel like I will think about my feelings, absolutely, but honestly, I almost just get distracted from thinking about them. And in a way, I'm almost too positive and optimistic sometimes, where it's like, I'll be thinking about something that's frustrating me that I'd like to change, but I just do a little bit too much of, it will be okay. Like, don't worry about it, don't be upset. And it's like, obviously, yes, but also sometimes figure a thing out, you know? So it's been good for that. My artist date, of course, you saw, we discussed that already, my dance class. And yeah, the main thing I reflected on here in writing was just, and I don't know why I've never really actively done it before, but before I went into the class, I was like, it doesn't matter how it goes, just, you know, if you're feeling overwhelmed or whatever, like sometimes if I'm struggling to like pick up choreography quick enough or whatever, I'll feel really nervous, like really stressed. And I was like, you know what? In those moments, just stand there and just whatever it is that comes to mind in the moment, just let it go. Even just say the words to yourself, let it go. Just do it, you know, just, and it really helped. I couldn't believe, I was like, I'm not actually gonna do that. I did, and it helped so much, who knew? But yeah, so that was good. Very much had fun. And then, yeah, reflecting on the tasks and things I did as well while I was baking my cake. But the main takeaway I had was that some of the tasks just didn't work for me, really. And whether that was a sort of failing, so to say, on my part, or if it was just that they aren't really helpful for me, it felt more like it just wasn't, I guess, relevant enough for my brain to like latch on to. Like all the week 1 tasks, I really found myself interested in, drawn to doing, and I felt that way with some of the week 2 tasks as well. And I'm in week 3 now. I'm feeling that way with some of these tasks. So I think it might just be that sometimes if it doesn't sit well for me in what I need, it's just going to be obvious maybe, I don't know. But that was week 2 of The Artist's Way. And I'm going to wrap this video up here. I thought maybe week 2 and week 3 were going to be combined. But I have yip-yapped enough for this to be its own video. So I hope you enjoyed this. I really actually liked doing it in more of a reflective way. Like sitting down, reflecting on the artist date, baking the cake I thought was nice because that was almost an artist date in itself that I was, you know, incorporating into the vlog, which I thought was fun in that way. But yeah, I hope you like my little armchair chat. I thought this would be a cute little setup. If you enjoyed the video, obviously like, subscribe, leave a comment, all the fun things, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. If the way is hazy, you gotta do the cooking by the book. You know you can't be lazy. Bye.